since you're talking about the faculty and the faculty vote, I think Provost Jensen wants to have a comment, then I can also comment.
Thank you. If I could, two things on the vote. One is that I addressed the fact of the whole day of the vote. As a matter of fact, they were shy of a quorum, and when I walked out after addressing them, saw somebody who looked to be a faculty agent and said, hey, if you're faculty, they need you in there, they're short of quorum. It turns out he wasn't, he was staff. The notion that the faculty needed to have a voice in this has been paramount in my considerations in this entire process. The issue of timing is coincidental. The consultations that the President had with the board could not be concluded until Monday morning, and as soon as possible thereafter, the information was passed on to the community as a whole. The vote came through this morning. I should note also that what I've heard is, in fact, that there were, by my count, about 15% of the voting faculty who either were for the amendment or were against the idea of Hamline taking a stand. They either voted against the resolution or they abstained. That says to me that there's a minority at Hamline that has effectively no voice if Hamline as an institution speaks on their behalf. And that's an awkward position to be in.
Yes.
Well, also, I just want to say before I even ask my question that I think a 20% vote in any direction in most political situations is considered a very low margin. If you win by 62%, that's a pretty sound win. I grew up in a small town in northeastern Minnesota, population 1,000. My high school also didn't take a stance. I received multiple death threats when I was a freshman in high school, to the point where I had to change my cell phone number 2 or 3 times. I was beat up. People threw glass bottles out of their windows while they sped by when I walked home from school. People tried to run me over with their trucks. And I ended up, that and other factors led me to go to an art school in the cities, where they told me, my teacher said, one of my teachers there teaches at Hamline too, and he said, it's a great place to go for a gay person to feel safe. And I love the classes that I take here, and I love the teachers that I have, and I value this experience a lot. But I would hate to see somebody like me, you know, when I was looking at colleges, I had narrowed my choices down to here in Augsburg. Augsburg took a stance against this, and I feel like if the decision had been made while I was considering where I would have gone, I would have been completely set on going to Augsburg. And I think that there's a lot of kids just like me who would do the same thing.
First of all, I want to thank you for sharing that story. That's authentic. That's real. And as you were talking, I was saying, yes, you're here. This is a good place for you. It will not change. This will not change your experience. And if it were to change, if you were to see one single iota, or where you and your person is being threatened, your beliefs, anything that would make you feel differently than you felt yesterday, I want you knocking on my door. Because I would address that. I would not allow that to happen here. You came here, we accepted you as a student, you are thriving here, and we want you here. And I understand that you might have made a different decision, but you made the decision to stay here, to come here, and I hope that you stay here. Because we will be here for you. Yes, Mr. Kloss.
Can you hear me?
Yep, no.
Okay,
go to the mic. Go to the mic.
My voice isn't croaking. I'd just like to respond to the last speaker. And first of all, thank you for sharing your story, and appreciate all the stories that have been told thus far. But in your opening comments, you referred to having 80% in most elections being sufficient for a victory. But the point is that what we're trying to do, what the Board of Trustees tried to do, is not create both winners and losers. People who feel strongly on one side of the issue versus the other side of the issue, feeling as though Hamline was taking away their voice. If I can just quickly walk you through a little bit of the thought process that occurred at yesterday morning's meeting. To a person, the trustees who voted on this matter wrestled a great deal with how they intend to vote on November 6th personally, and what they think is the appropriate position for Hamline University to take on this matter. Trustees first became aware that it would be important for us to vote on this matter, well, perhaps a week or so ago. And for a lot of the trustees, it was a week of anguish, and a lot of difficulty wrestling with different kinds of emotions, both personal and in their capacity as a member of the Board of Trustees. But in the end, a decision was made that how we might feel personally. And I can tell you that people who spoke and shared their personal feelings are very sympathetic with the sentiments that I've heard already this afternoon. But in the end, without going into the details of the actual vote total, there was a strong statement that Hamline, with a long history of not getting involved in issues that are politically divisive, that at this point in time we should maintain our historical record and not take a position on this. Some people may misinterpret our position as being neutral, and to those people I would say this, if I can create a visual for you. It isn't as though we're standing with one leg on either side of a fence. Instead, we decided this is a fence that's not appropriate for us to go near. I understand that a lot of people here feel differently, but that was the view that the trustees felt was the right one to take on behalf of the university. I've also heard some feedback that somehow President Hanson influenced our vote. The president would be interested in finding some humor in that, as she often finds that the Board of Trustees is not always supportive of the position that she takes. That was not the case at all. The president did not vote on this. She did not have the authority to vote. The trustees voted, as I said, without going into the numbers, the vote was a strong sentiment in favor of taking the position that we took.
Hello, I'm Taylor Williams. I am a junior here at Hamline, and I just wanted to say, every single person in this room, I accept you. But not accept you no matter what gender you are, what sex you are, what your ethnicity is, what your race is, what class you come from, what position you have politically, and whether you're going to vote yes or no. I accept you no matter what. And that is why I felt the need to voice my opinion, and I know that there are others in this room with this opinion that going neutral is the right thing to do. I realize I might be in the minority here, but one of the glorious things about Hamline is everyone's voice can be heard. And I wanted to let you know that I feel like it is a good idea to remain neutral. Two of Hamline's core values are diversity and community. Diversity, because we can learn from every single person, no matter how they grew up, no matter their identity, and no matter which political view they have. We can learn from them. Community. We can create a community in which everyone feels accepted. Every gender, every sex, every ethnicity, everyone can be accepted. And I feel